and welcome back to my channel, Night Owl Collage. I'm Amber, and today we are using a kit by Stacy at Crafty Dragon Creations. I'm on her design team, so I'll be sharing a design team project with you today. This kit is called Cottagecore Foxes, which is really super cute, and this kind of made me lean toward my daughter because she absolutely adores foxes. And I think I told you guys in my fox unboxing video that yeah, her dream is to see a fox in real life. So I'm making this project for her, but let me show you what is in the kit. I'm using all the pages in the kit, except maybe not some of the ephemera, but all the journal pages I will be using in the kit today. So we have, I have them in the order that I'm going to be using them. So we have, this is just an adorable image, so that's going to be our cover. I love the rainbow. And then we've got different styles of foxes, but I like this wooden background that is kind of runs through some of these. It's kind of a soft green color throughout. There are foxes reading books, and here's a background page with some ivy. And then this is a survey of Heathcat's estate. So background page. And then so the pattern pages, I have two of these, the foxes reading the books. Another background page, the wooden background, which I really like. Another pattern page, this is a fox with a wreath. And then here's some more foxes reading. And these foxes with some ivy by the fence. Some music and poppies, which I really love. I love the poppies. Journal page. Another journal page with those reading foxes. Here's some side-by-side pages. Fox at the watering hole. Some cherry blossoms. Another journaling page. Here is foxes with butterflies. That's a really pretty one. Here's another fox with a rainbow. Background page. I love this full page. This is, I mean, it's just really beautiful. The gray and there's the gray and the purple, just, I love that with this fox. And this outdoorsy one. I have another one of these wooden pages, another one of these background pages, another wooden page. I got two more of those. I use those a lot in this because it's a great background page. These are these arches. These are pages we're going to use to collage with. So we're not going to see usually the full image when we use these, but we're going to use them as collage page. Okay, and then we'll be looking at the ephemera in the next video because this is going to be a two-part video. We're going to construct the Lapbook in this video, and then we're going to embellish it in the second part. Okay, so these are the pages we're using. These are a stack of ephemera that we're going to be using in the next video. Some really nice pieces there. And this is the Lapbook we're going to be constructing. It is a horizontal oriented orientation. So it opens up here, and you'll notice that, okay, I used magnets to begin with, which I really like the magnets. But I figured that is more kind of a specialty item that you'll probably have to order. I order mine from Amazon. They're really teeny tiny magnets. And then you have to be careful about putting them underneath the paper if you don't want them to be seen. So it just added a lot more, I think, stress to the project. So I didn't want to do that. This one's also magnetized. So we're going to be using Velcro dots. Okay, so that's a lot easier than using the magnets, but I will link the magnets down below if you would like to use the magnets. and then you just have to make sure you put them under the paper if you don't want them to be seen. So this one opens up like this. That one's magnetized. This one I started using the Velcro dots. Okay, so these open up, and I actually put these on upside down. This is my prototype. So I gotta be careful about that. And then there's got a belly band here. You can put things in there. And then here it's like a waterfall, a side waterfall flip. Here. On this page opens out. It kind of balances the heaviness on this side. Opens out here for some journaling space. And then we've got a nice pocket here. Right here, got a pocket, which I'm gonna change the papers on this because I ended up not liking those papers there. And then on the back, these are the collaged pages. That's just a nice big fold out here that we're going to embellish with like some pockets and things like that, so you can have space to write on there. And I did add some journaling pages in there to write. So that is what we are making today. We're going to construct this today and then put all the pockets and fun things in the next video. So these are the measurements of what you'll need. I used file folders, but if you just have cardstock, I mean, you probably need a file folder for these two pieces because the length is over 12 inches. I'm gonna hold this up so you can get a screenshot. I'm gonna put it up here. I will be telling you what the measurements are as we go along, but I just want to give you this just as a reference point at any time. So take a snapshot of that and we will get started. Okay. So the first pieces we need are the cover and the inside pages. So let me show you how I did it. These are these two pages. I'm gonna grab actually I'm not gonna do. Okay, so what I did instead of measuring out 15 1/4 by 9 3/4, what I did was, this is how the file folder came, okay? So it was already folded right here, and you notice that there are other score lines here. So I just folded it again on that last score line. So you have a 3/4 inch spine right there. And then I set each fold, so this fold here, this first fold, I set at 7 1/4, and then I cut off the excess on that side. Then I turned it around, set this other fold line at 7 1/4, and cut off the excess. Okay, so that's how I did it. And then for the second one, the second piece, this is how it came folded, and then I just folded at the next score line, so that's just a 1/4 inch spine. Okay, and I did the same thing, 7 1/4 inch from each fold. Okay, so that's how I did it with the folders. If you just cut it to this measurement, 15 1/4 to 9 3/4, then you would score 7 1/4 from each edge when you are folding it, okay? And the same for the inside one, 7 1/4 from each edge. That would be your score line. Okay, so now we have these two pieces, and we're going to set them inside of each other, okay, just like this. And we want to center it. So I'm going to sew, but there are two ways you can do this. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to make sure that these are centered. I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to sew down this middle spine here, and just making sure these are centered. Now, if you don't sew, what I want you to do is use both score tape and glue. So that's gonna hold, because I mean, this is gonna get a lot of use. So you want this to really hold. And I would also add an additional step to that. So I would lay down your score tape. And this is true for all of the construction we're gonna do. So you wanna use the double-sided tape, then put wet glue on top of that, then stick it down and let it dry. Additionally, for the spine, I would add like maybe a brad binding. So I would do like 3 holes and then add 3 brads to just really secure that, because we need that spine to be secure. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a zigzag stitch right down the spine, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I've got this sewn here. Got a zigzag stitch down the spine. So we have this now. 4 pages, or, well, yeah, really 8 pages. But now we are going to go ahead and cover the front. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. So I just have this first page here, and we're going to cover it. I'm choosing the Fox with the Rainbow. I think that is a great first page, great cover. Such a beautiful image. I am going to cut this bottom part off up close to the feet. About 1/2 inch I'm cutting off the bottom. And then I'm just going to use that as my, so I can get it straight, because then we're gonna have to cut this off. Okay, I've got some glue paper here, and I like to use glue stick when I'm gluing down full sheets of paper so it doesn't warp the paper. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're just gonna make sure we get, I like to do the center first of the page and then go around the edges so it doesn't dry out too quickly. Okay, now I'm gonna go around the edges. And I think this is gonna cover the top too. We'll just see. I'm gonna just glue the spine as well. I'm going to center my fox. I'm just going to use my bone folder to really smooth that down, especially over this stitching here. And then we'll just cut off this excess. There is our cover. I'm not going to close it just yet because I want that to dry a little more. So I'm going to be working on this first page. So we're going to need 2 pieces that are 5 1/8 inch by 7 inches. I have my pieces here. We are going to score 1/4 inch on the long side. That will be our flap. So we're going to do just 1/4 inch from the edge on the long side of each one. So then we're going to fold these back for our flaps. And we're going to cover this last, and we're going to cover these first. So I'm going to move this to the side, and I'm going to grab my next piece. So this is going to be where these two foxes are going to be. Just going to cut this in half. All right, so I'm going to find my glue stick. There it is. And I'm not gonna put it on the flap, okay? I'm gonna keep the flap folded back while I glue this down. We're gonna cover that edge with ink, so don't worry about that. And what I like to do to kind of center the fox where I want it is to hold it up to the light. So I'm just gonna hold it up to the light, make sure my fox is where I want it on the page, and make sure it's straight. And then we'll cut that down too. Be careful when you're cutting here that you're not cutting your flap. That would be really bad. You wouldn't have a flap anymore. Okay. And then let's do this one. Make sure your flaps are on the right side, okay? So I want this flap to be on the left. Now we have our two flaps. We're gonna also cover the back side, and I'm gonna kind of overlap. I don't need to cut the whole flap, or cover the whole flap, but I do kind of want to overlap it a bit. I'm gonna use this page, and let's cut that in half. And I kind of want, get the fox's head in there, but I kind of want most of this writing space. Sorry, I'm not as conversational today. I've had like a pretty bad migraine today. Feeling better, but definitely was not fun. And I'm still kind of just taking it easy from that. So I'm just trying to focus on actually getting this done. Okay, let's bring back our page 1, and I'm going to line up. I don't want to fold it just yet because I want to sew it first. So I'm going to line up the flap. Let me show it this way. Here's the flap. I'm going to line it up with the top of the page and the bottom. Now, if you are not sewing, go ahead and do the score tape and wet glue. So I'm going to go ahead and sew along that flap. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this side, and then I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I've sewn these on, and I'm going to go ahead and round the corners on these flaps. I'm using the 10mm side. And I'm going to go ahead and ink around these edges as well. I'm using Rustic Wilderness. And I did a more of a decorative stitch, like ivy going up. I mean, zigzag is fine, but I just kind of liked that ivy, so I went ahead and did that. Okay, so now we have this and this. So I'm going to cover this paper to cover the flaps here. I'm using this ivy background paper, and I'm just going to cut it down to size 9 3/4. I should have known that. Okay. As much as I have cut this to size, I should have already known that. So let's just go 9 3/4. And we're just going to glue that right over top of this. And I'm going to cover this spine part too, I think. Wait, do I want to? Yeah, I'll cover the spine part too. So I'm just going to put some glue paper there. Let's get lots of glue on here. Now, when we close up these flaps, we're going to put our Velcro dots in place. But another option for you, if you don't like the Velcro dots for this flap, is to do like a policy closure. So that might be really cute as well. I'm just going to go with the easiest option, especially since it's going to be my daughter who's going to be receiving this. I'm just gonna go with the easiest option, which is the Velcro dots. Really get that pressed down with your bone folder. Make sure that is really good. And then you can cut off this excess. I'm going to let that dry before I close it up because it's still kind of sticky. And I'm just going to add some ink to the top of that. And then I'm going to put my Velcro dots in the correct place. I'm going to measure these since I want them to be even. Okay, this is 7 inches, so I'm going to put about 3.5 inches. So 3.5, and I'll probably do 1/2 inch to the inside. Okay, so it's 3.5 inches down and 1/2 inch from the edge. Okay, so I'm going to take my Velcro dots, and I'm actually going to put some Fabri-Tac on it as well, just for added security. And you don't want to open these back up until it's completely dry, or it'll just tear right off your paper. So just be patient and wait till that is completely dry. Okay, so that should complete page 1. Okay, for page 2, we are going to need a piece that is 5 inches by 9 3/4 and 4.5 inches by 9 3/4. We're going to round the corners on one side of each one, the long side. Okay. on the opposite side is where we're going to score a 1/4 inch. Okay, so let's fold those back. Okay, so we're going to set those aside. We're going to cover them in just a minute, but we're going to go ahead and cover page 2 first. So I'm going to cover it with this page. All right. So I'm just going to add, I'm going to flip this like we did with the other one. Flip this back. Okay, let's cut off the excess. Let's see. I think I'm actually going to sew. Along this line to the edge of this paper, just so that paper doesn't decide it wants to come up. So it's like along this part of the spine. I'm going to sew along there as well. And then I'm going to cover these flaps. And we're going to put them, the bottom one, or the larger one goes on the bottom, and the smaller one goes on the top, and we're going to put Velcro dots there. So I'm going to go sew this, and I'm going to cover these two. The fronts of the flaps are going to be these foxes with the books, and the inside of the flaps will be this background page. Okay, so I have covered these. The larger flap is going to be down here. The smaller flap is going to be down here. Now, if you are not sewing, again, do the 1/4 inch score tape, double-sided tape, and wet glue, and attach that to the bottom. And same thing with the top. I'm going to go do that on the sewing machine. I'm going to attach the flap right to the top, so the edge of that edge of the flap will be right at the top of that page. Okay, so I'm just going to open it up like that and sew it down. Okay, but if you're going to sew it, you're going to have to open this up so that just that page, you're not sewing your pages down. So be careful when you do that if you're sewing. Okay, be right back. All right, these are sewn on, so I'm just going to fold them up. Nice, good crease. Now we're going to put these at, it is 4 7/8 from the edge, and then from this edge, a 1/2 inch. So we're putting it on the top flap. I'm putting my glue on the rough side, the hook side. Okay, we're gonna stick that right there. I'm gonna put glue on the other side. We don't need a whole lot of glue. It's just extra security. And then flip that down. Oop, I shifted that. I don't want that to do that. Okay, don't press too hard, it'll make shift. Okay, I'll let that dry. And then we're gonna come to page 3. I'm gonna let this dry for a bit before we do page 3 because I don't want anything to shift out of place. and then we'll come back and we'll do page 3. Actually, let's go ahead and cover the pieces we need to cover for page 3 while that's drying. For page 3, we're going to need a piece that is 4 by 10 1/4, and we're going to need 3 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 7 1/4. So we're going to make our score lines. We're going to make a 1/4 inch, a score line 1/4 inch from each short edge of this long piece. Okay. And then we're going to make a 1/4 inch score line. We're going to make a score line 1/4 inch from one of the short edges on these, just one. I'm going to fold these back. We're going to cover this long piece. It's going to be like a belly band. We're going to cover that with this piece, the pattern paper with the fox and the wreath. So we're going to cover just the front of that piece. And for these pieces, we're going to cover the front with, so this, on this page, we're going to use that as the middle fox here, and we are going to cover over the flap too. Okay, so we're going to cover that one, and then we're going to, on this page, we're going to use this fox that's facing it to the left. Okay, and then on this piece, we're going to use this fox that's reading facing the right. Okay, so I'm going to cover all those pieces, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I have the belly band covered, so we're going to set that to the side. I have the fronts covered on these. So these are going to be flipping down like this. So when we do the back side, we need to do it upside down from this side so that it looks right side up when we flip it. So I'm going to use this sheet for the 2 sides. So I'm going to flip this upside down and center the fox on this one, and center this fox on this one. And then I'm going to just use this sheet to do, maybe I might not even include a fox on that one, maybe just like right here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those on, cut them out. I'm going to round these corners, the top corners, and ink them, and I'll be back in a sec. All right, let's bring our Lapbook back, and we're going to move these out of the way for a second. We're going to put the background, which is the wooden paneling page. So we're going to use that. We're going to glue that right on there. Okay, I'm going to take my belly band, and I'm going to glue that right in the center. I can't sew it because then I would just close up my flaps here, and I don't want to do that. So I am going to do the score taping glue so you can see what I mean. So I'm going to grab my score tape. I'm going to stick it on the flap. On each side. Cut off the extra here. Then I'm going to peel that off. And then I'm going to add my art glitter glue on top And then I'm going to add, let's set that right in the center. Just make sure I don't glue that down. Stick my bone folder under there. And then we are going to add these. So you're going to add these right at the bottom of your page, okay? Not over onto the spine. It's going to be right at the edge of your paper. Okay, so you have your 1/4 inch flap here. I'm going to sew mine on. Again, you can use the score tape and the glue, but I'm going to sew mine on, and that these will flip down like this. Okay, just a note, if you are sewing these on the back side, make sure that you open up this flap so that you're not sewing the flap down when you sew this on. Okay, now we're going to add our Velcro dots to our flaps here. I'm just going to crease these. Okay, so I'm going to take my Velcro dots. This time I'm going to put the glue on the soft side, the loop side, because I want that to be on here, because if you're writing, I don't want anybody to get scratched by the hook part. A little bit of Fabri-Tac. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. My other one is going to be end up right in the middle of my fox. It'll be okay though. It's still cute. Okay, then we're gonna put a little more Fabri-Tac on top and close up our flaps. There we go. Let those dry. So that's page 3 done. We got 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Well, the back cover is 7. So I'm gonna let that dry a bit, and then we'll move on to page 4. All right. Okay, so page 4, we're gonna need 4 pieces. We're going to need a piece that is 3 1/4 inches by 7 inches. 5 1/4 inches by 7 inches. 7 1/4 inches by 7 inches. And 9 1/4 inches by 7 inches. This is where we're going to do our waterfall. Okay, so for the waterfall pages, I will tell you what pages I'm using where, and then we're just gonna glue them all on. Okay, I'm missing the first piece of this one. I have to reprint it, but it is going to be this fox here on that ledger paper. Okay, so that is what we're going to use. It has like an apple tree over here, so I got to reprint that one because I don't know where I put it. On the inside of that one, we're going to use this fox. So on the back side, that will be that fox. So that is that first one. For the next page, we're going to take the cherry blossom fox. We're going to put that on the front. And on the back, we're going to use this journal page with this fox that's laying down here. Okay, we'll put that on the back. That's the second piece. The third largest piece, we're going to take our scrap, our other half page, we're going to use this fox. It's reading on this side, and on the other side we're going to use this fox and butterfly pattern paper. And for the last piece, we're going to use the fox with the rainbow, and we're going to use this background page on the back of that. And then we're going to put this fox as the background page for the entire page. Okay, so we're going to do that. For each of these pieces, you're going to score. Let me get this. So we're going to score a 1/4 inch from one of the long edges, and on the other long edge, you're going to round the corner. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cover all of these front and back and ink them, and we'll be back to construct this page. Okay, I've got all my pieces covered and inked. Okay, so I'm going to show you these just if you forgot which pages I used. Okay, so I think I did this. This one is, I did it just like I did the other ones with the flaps turned in. But I think I might want to try it like this. I'm thinking that it will, I mean, these stay closed, but I wonder, I think I'm going to try to just do the flaps flat like this, so that I think it'll stay, like I won't need a closure, I won't need Velcro dots or anything like that to keep them flat, I think. Alright, so I've got to refold the flaps. So I'm going to start, these I'm going to line up with the bottom of the page. Okay, so I'm going to sew this one down along the flap, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do each next one, so I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, my stitching line is not exactly straight, but it's still fine. So I'm going to fold this back along the flap. Crease that. Okay, make sure. Alright, so the next one I'm going to just line up with the bottom, and I'm going to push it right up against this last one and sew along that flap. Okay, and I will fold this one back. I'm going to do the same thing with these last two, and then I will be back in just a moment. Alright, so I've got these all sewed down and they lay nice and flat, so I don't feel like I need to add Velcro dots to close these up. So we've got all our flaps here looking very cute, very nice. So we're going to move on to page, what page are we on? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, page 5. Okay, so there is some bulk here, so I put the next pieces on this side to balance that out. So we're going to need, let me find my measurement sheet. For page 5, we're going to need a piece that is 5 1/4 by 7 inches and a piece that is 4 1/4 by 5 inches. So to start, let's see. Yeah, I think I want to put these on first and then our sheet, our background sheet. So for these, we're going to score at a 1/4 inch on one long side. And same with this, a 1/4 inch on one long side. fold these back. Okay, so the way these are going to work is this one's gonna open up like this, and this one is going to attach here to this side, okay? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cover this side first, like this, okay? And we're going to move this to the side. You can see better. We're gonna use these cute foxes. This is probably one of my favorite pages because it's just adorable. So this fox is gonna go right in the middle of this one. So I'm gonna keep that flap folded back. I have got a song stuck in my head. It won't go away. I keep wanting to sing it, and I'm like, wait, I am on camera, so that's not a good idea because I actually can't sing. So that would be pretty torturous for you guys. But I'm really trying hard not to break out in song right now. So. Let's see. Okay. It's a song called, oh, what is it called? Smiling Faces by Marta Wren. It's just like stuck there. Okay, before I cover the back, I actually want to attach this one there. So I'm going to cover this first, attach it here, and then cover this part. So this little fox is going on this side. Okay, on the back side, let me figure out which one I want. Okay, so I'm gonna put this other page on the larger one, and then I'm gonna use this for the smaller one. I think I might put that little fox there too. Okay, I'm going to round these corners. And I'm going to ink the smaller one. All right, now I'm gonna attach this I'm gonna sew that on. Of course, you can do the tape and the glue. I'm going to go ahead and sew this. All right, now I am going to put this on the large piece. I like every time I do this, like this is my third, like the first one I didn't add the papers to. I just did like a basic prototype. And then I did the second one with the papers, and now this is my third lap book. And I change my mind about how I want to do things like every time. So that's the creative process, right? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna fold this in. Ink. All right, let's get our page back over here. I'm going to sew this onto the side here, lining it up with the top, and make sure that you open this up and fold this back so you're not sewing anything else down. Or if you're gluing, you don't have to worry about that. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got this one sewn on, and now we're gonna put our background page on. And I'm going to use another one of those really pretty wooden paneling here. So I'm gonna cover that flap up, and we're gonna cover this up. So make sure you put plenty of glue, lots of glue, especially over the stitching. Oh, time for a new glue stick. Okay, so we're gonna really press that in to the stitching. We don't want that coming up. If it does start to lift a little bit, put a little bit of wet glue under the edge, and that should hold it down. Okay, after you cut that down, just really kind of push that down again and give it some drying time. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. After it dries, we'll ink it and we'll fold this back in. But we'll start the construction of the next page. So we're gonna use this as our background. Okay, I think we can go ahead and glue that on while that's drying. Okay. I'm not gonna cut this down until it dries, so I don't get any lifting. So we're gonna put that to the side while that's drying. And the page 6 pieces we need, let me find my paper. So for page 6, we need a piece that is 2.5 by 9 3/4, and we need a piece that is 5 by 10 3/4. So we are going to score this. For the smaller piece, we're going to score on the long side. We're going to score at 1/4 inch and at 1/2 inch. Okay. So score at 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, and then on this one, on 3 sides, the 2 short sides and the long side, we're going to score at 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, so the next thing is, for this piece, we're going to cut out this square in the corner, okay, and these 2 bottom corners. Just cut out those little squares because we're going to be making a pocket. Okay, so the next one I'm going to be using more of this paneling for the pocket. And we're going to cover, for the smaller one, we're going to cover the front and the back. All right, on the unscored side, we're going to, unscored and long side, we're going to round those corners. And ink. And then on this side, we only need to cover the front. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and fold these so it'll be easier to fold when we get to gluing it down. But I do want these covered, so I'm going to open them back out. Okay, I'm going to open this back out. I'm going to cover the front. Okay, we got this cut out. We're going to refold our gussets. This first one, we're going to ink that side. And then fold the other one. I'll probably ink that one too. Okay, I'm going to do that for each side. Now that this is dry, we can go ahead and ink that. Cut this down. Okay, so obviously we can't sew the pocket on. So we're gonna use the score tape and the glue, and we're gonna put that pocket on right here. Okay, now I'm gonna add my wet glue. Those are good, and we're going to get this stuck down. Make sure your corners are flush. Once you've got the corners good and the sides pushed in evenly, take something like a bone folder and kind of press in the edges to the page so you know that they are stuck down. I'm going to use a ruler here. Make sure everything's good and stuck down. Okay, so the pocket, let that dry. And then we're gonna do the same thing with our flap. We're gonna refold. Our flap is going to be like this, so it has a gusset here. So we are going to, this is coming up, so I'm gonna add some wet glue to that to make sure that it stays stuck. So anything that is a little loose coming up, just add some wet glue to it. Okay, so on this part here is where we're going to attach the flap, so that's where we're going to put our double-sided tape. Add our wet glue, and we're going to bring our flap, we're going gonna make sure that it is sitting right on top of that pocket. Okay, and then we don't want it to move, so I'm gonna slowly open this up. And press it down as I open it, because I need it to be open to press it. So take this in, press this down. I'm gonna let that pocket dry a bit before I put the Velcro dots on. So I'm gonna let that dry. And well, then we'll put the Velcro dots on. But the back cover, what we want to do for the back cover, we're going to have 2 more pieces. We're almost done, guys. Back cover, or page 7, you're going to need 7.5 by 9 3/4. You're going to need 2 of those. And then we're going to score those on one long side at 1/4 inch. I'm going to fold those back along the score line, and I'll show you how we're going to attach these. So before we cover them, we're going to attach them. So we're going to attach on the spine side, we're going to attach this flap to the spine. So be careful when you are sewing that you don't sew anything else down if you're sewing. So you're going to attach that flap to the edge where the spine is, and then this one you're going to attach to this page, the opposite side. You're going to attach that flap there so that it will open out like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that after this dries, and then we'll do the last part together. Okay, I'm going to put on another Velcro dot. Make sure this is on the right spot. 4 7/8, and about 1/2 inch down. That's where we want our dot. A little bit of fabric tack. That much fabric tack. Move that a little bit, and then we're going to make sure that this is flush up against the top of the pocket, and then press down. Hold that for a few minutes so it doesn't shift, or a few seconds. And I'm actually, I think, going to flip this because I don't want it to shift. So on the back, so if we were doing it this way, okay, so this is gonna fold down like this. I did the orientation, I switched the orientation on the last one to portrait, but I'm gonna continue to do it landscape on this one. So all you need to do is, for this, is to take the rest of your scraps, so whatever scraps you have left. And I also used the rest of the pages in the kit. So the last pages I had was these 3 left, to just collage the pages. So I'll show you again. So I have like journaling pages, I have featured some of the foxes, and so it's just collage any way you like. So you don't need to sit here and watch me collage the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead and collage the pages and be back, and I'll show you how to put the Velcro dots on that to keep that secure, and we'll be done. All right, I have collaged all of these pages, and we're just gonna add the, I also rounded these corners and inked everything. And we're just going to add the Velcro dots, and then we'll be done for this part. And next video we will embellish. So we're going to start with this one. We're going to put our Velcro dots over here, and I'm just going to eyeball these. So I'm going to put them right in the corner here. Put our glue, a little bit of Fabri-Tac on the top, and we're going to close that up. And then on this one, I'm going to do the same thing. Close that up. Wait for that to dry. And then we have our Lapbook construction. Make sure all your Velcro dots are completely dry before you attempt to open them, because if they're still wet or still not adhered completely, then it's gonna just tear your paper. So be patient on that. So thanks for hanging out with me today and doing this awesome project. Hope you'll be back for the next part for embellishment. If you really like the Cottagecore Foxes kit, it is on sale for 30% off now through July 31st. Use the code Cottagecore Fox 30 to get that 30% off at Crafty Dragon Creations on Etsy. So that information will be down in the description box below as well. So thanks again for hanging out with me today and making this Lapbook. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back again in a couple of days for another project. All right, guys, see you soon. Bye.